welcome back to
Welcome
another
back.
episode. It's been a while since we've recorded. And yes, today's topic is
Sticking it to imposter syndrome. So, today we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome. What is it? How we've dealt with it. And then also, we're going to be giving you some advice on how to overcome imposter syndrome.
imposter syndrome is just like this evil little thing that is invisible, but I feel like it lives in a lot of people and it happens because you're high achieving most likely. If you have imposter syndrome,
Hmm.
you're probably extremely high achieving, but it's just this little thing that burrows deep inside you. And so we're talking about how to deal with it because it's certainly something that everyone deals with, including us.
So, let's first start by explaining what imposter syndrome is.
We got this from Psychology Today. It says people who struggle with imposter syndrome believe that they are undeserving of their achievements and the high esteem in which they are, in fact, generally held. They feel that they aren't as competent or as intelligent as others might think, and that soon enough, people will discover the truth about them. So, those with imposter syndrome are often actually well accomplished. They may hold high office or have numerous academic degrees. I'd say that's accurate.
I feel like that was a very dramatic way of describing accurate, but dramatic way of describing imposter syndrome. Like, people discover the truth.
But that is the thing, right? Because if you are an imposter, you're
Mhm,
constantly scared, people are going to out you or, they'll find out the truth that you're actually just faking it and you
mhm.
don't actually know what you're doing. But let's be real. Who actually knows what they're doing?
Exactly. Who really can say that they know, like, everything? It's kinda unlikely. So, I think while we've definitely dealt with imposter syndrome, maybe not on that level of, like, we feel like we're total imposters and people are gonna discover the truth about us, but in more of, like, in the sense of when we put out new products
Yeah.
or, like, do something different, we definitely have had those feelings of, "What if no one likes what we're doing?" Or, "What if no one actually wants this?" I know we've definitely felt that a lot with our coming up with our courses.
Mhm.
We've I feel like for all of our launches, we've always had, like, a little bit of doubt. If not a lot,
Yeah.
definitely a little bit, where we're just
Mhm.
like, "What if no one wants this and no one's gonna buy this, and we just wasted months of our time trying to come up with this content or this program, of course." And I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's generally how we experience imposter syndrome.
Mhm,
But I think the problem with imposter syndrome is that it really holds you back. Like if we truly believed in ourselves 100%, because we are experts. I
mhm,
think we've gotten to the point where we understand now, yes, we are experts
yeah,
because the numbers don't lie. Like we have $1 million business and we
mhm,
have all these students, we made all these sales, okay, clearly we're doing something right, we know what we're doing,
mhm,
but I think it only took us, 7 years to get here, whereas we probably could have started a lot earlier had we not felt this imposter
yeah.
syndrome. Does that make sense? You
That
know what I
makes sense.
mean?
I feel like yeah, have when you have imposter syndrome, it definitely can cause, like, I don't know if it's, like, self-sabotaging, not
Mhm.
necessarily, like, sabotaging, but you're definitely, like, holding yourself back from doing the
Yeah.
things that you wanna do or, like, trying new things. Yeah, I feel like that's why, like, we held off so long to do our Big Plans Academy courses because we just
Mhm.
weren't sure if it was worth pursuing, if people really, like, believed in us and our advice and our knowledge.
Yeah, I think about how, "Oh, I have all these degrees, I have an MBA," but it's like, you don't actually need all those things, but f for me, in my mind, I have the imposter syndrome, and I'm like, "I need to get these degrees or else no one's gonna take me seriously. I'm not gonna take myself seriously." And so do you know what I mean? You
Mhm.
work so hard to get all these achievements so that you can prove to yourself really that you are finally capable of doing whatever it is. But then I see other people, they have no degree or like they have, maybe just their bachelor's or whatever, but like they're doing it. Like
Mhm.
you started the sticker shop without even your high school degree technically.
Yeah, no experience, just for the vibes.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, you don't actually need all of these things to get started.
Mhm. Exactly.
So, imposter syndrome has definitely held me back.
Okay, so let's talk about some tips, I guess, for how to deal with imposter syndrome.
Okay. So, something that I would say is really important is to, first of all, acknowledge, like, really confront the fact that you have this imposter syndrome. Like, take a look and think about where does this come from? Like, what does this imposter syndrome stem from? Slash, how has it affected you so far? Like, really just diving deep into that. And maybe like you need that requires some therapy or just, journaling, just like really dig
Mhm.
in there.
Yeah.
Get to know yourself better. Because I think once you understand why, it'll be a lot easier to then address the root of the issue.
Mhm.
So, like, for example, for us, it was always like our parents were just, pushing us to be high achievers and then also rewarding us when we were successful at school. So, like, a lot of the things that I did was for our parents.
Mhm.
Uh, but and so then a lot of the imposter syndrome that I deal with is like what thinking about what other people think. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's all connected. And so getting to know yourself better and like understanding where your the root of your imposter syndrome comes from.
Yeah, because I feel like when you're doing something different, you don't really know, like, what's the outcome of that. So if you can't, like, guarantee it to be successful, it's, like, very scary, and I feel like it, like, can hold you back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess how do you overcome imposter syndrome? Once you've, like, found like, acknowledged the root cause, what can you do to, like, overcome feeling this way?
Okay. A lot of it is mindset, I will say, like giving yourself freedom to just make mistakes and to just, like, try it, just do it. Like you,
Mhm.
without thinking, you just, like, went and did it. It was just vibes, right? Like, don't
Just
think
about
too
it.
hard about why you shouldn't be doing this. Like, when you let the imposter syndrome voice win, you're never gonna go anywhere. So you just kinda have to be like, "I'm gonna do this no matter what. Like, I don't care what you say because I wanna do it and not because I'm scared of being an imposter." I don't know. Do you know
Mhm,
like that's this one's a tough one because it's very close to my heart because it is
mhm,
something that like I and many other people experience. So a lot of it is changing your mindset, but then also doing other things, talking to other people is also extremely important because then you
mhm.
see how you are not an imposter or how like everyone else also feels the same way.
Yeah, I feel like it's good to have, like, a community of, like, people who are in a similar position as you, or even, like, reaching out and finding a mentor is really helpful.
Yes. Having your supporters, which is one thing, like that could be your
Mhm,
family, your friends, but then also having people who are mentors or colleagues who are actually in whatever you're doing, like in the
mhm.
sticker shop
Yeah,
game, who understand exactly what you're going through because they're either currently also experiencing it or they have experienced it. So, like having like people like us. Hopefully, we
mhm,
also like when we talk about the things that we've experienced in the past, such as imposter syndrome, hopefully that gives you a sense of like you are not alone in this, but you can
mhm.
absolutely overcome it because other people have.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to reflect on your achievements because I know for us, like, we kinda just breeze past our achievements and we don't take the
Yes.
time to, like, celebrate every win, but I think it is really important to do that.
Yeah, very important. And that's also something that we should work on. Do have to work on
Yes.
is celebrating our successes because we're very much just like achieve, achieve, achieve.
We're very much yeah, achieve and then what's next? Achieve and what's next? What's next?
Move on to yeah, what's next?
Yeah,
What's next? Like,
yeah.
I'm already over it, let's go on to the next thing. But it's yeah, it is important to be like, "Wow, I really did that." And if I'm capable
Mhm.
of doing that, then I can do anything. I think what's really helpful is I remember in business school I was part of this like entrepreneurship leadership development program, and it was like a group of other entrepreneurial students, and we would get together with our mentor who was like, who has like years, decades of experience in entrepreneurship. And we would just go around and talk about like our what's happening in our personal lives, what's happening in our businesses. And when you have a group of like people who are in a similar situation and you have a mentor, it's just very comforting to know like, okay, these people are also experiencing the same thing, or they can give you advice, but either way, like, you slowly come to understand that nobody knows what the heck they're doing, and so,
They
really,
don't.
everyone is kind of an imposter in the sense of that they're faking it till they make it, in which case it is totally fine to be doing what you're doing, it's okay, no one's gonna find out the truth about you because
Right. Like, who really is going to do that or, like, question you?
yeah,
I feel like that's, like it's very much just in your own head.
yes. I remember seeing some TikToks recently about, like, how you're supposed to, like, be cringy, be delusional, because it might feel, like, really, like, cringy to be posting to your feed and your stories regularly or whatever, but a year from now or, like, years from now, it's gonna just be a part of your journey.
Mhm. Yeah.
So something we did wanna talk about, because we kind of mentioned it earlier, is that we are part of our upcoming accelerator program is having a cohort of students led by us, and it will be 5 weeks. We've really fleshed it out since we last talked about it, which is why I kinda wanna, like, show you guys where we're currently at.
Bring it up.
Yeah. We are working on it
Yeah.
right now. Our plan is to launch it in June. Of course, we'll have more information for you later, and I will have a link in the show notes to our wait list so that if you are interested, you don't miss out on any information that we send out to our wait list peeps. But let's talk a little bit about what the program looks like so far.
So our program is 5 weeks long. It's going to be live lectures, and it's gonna be a cohort of students, and the goal of the program is that you launch your shop by the end of the 5 week, and then
So over the 5 weeks, we will be covering things such as branding, like, building a brand. I feel like that's so foundational,
Mhm,
so important, as well as other things as like building your Etsy shop, little things like how do you create a graphic listing like the ones that everyone else makes? How do you take good photos? Building your social media, creating a launch strategy, etc. So a lot of really good stuff. We're basically just preparing you to launch, and then after you launch, at the end of the program, we also talk about, like, other things that you experience post-launch, like things to work on, etcetera.
mhm.
And something that I'm really, really excited about that I really wanna share is that we will be sharing students who complete the program at the end of the 5 weeks. We'll be sharing you to our Instagram. We have probably at this point almost 95K followers. So that's, plenty of people to promote yourselves to. So I feel like that's a huge, huge, huge bonus. And speaking of bonuses, we also have like a ton of bonuses as well. I don't know. This program's going to be awesome. Like, this is the biggest program we've ever, or like course that we've ever done. Live
Mhm.
lectures. We have office
Live
hours.
lectures, which
Um,
yes, weekly office hours, opportunities for
yeah.
Q&A all throughout. You're really, going to be supported through this entire journey.
Yeah, and just in case anyone has any questions about, like, the live lectures, yes, they will be recorded, so if you can't make it, yeah, yes, you can absolutely watch them later on your own time, and you can do the program, like, if you wanted to do it on your own schedule, like, yes, you can, but you will get the most out of this program if you were to follow the 5 week. And we intentionally made it 5 weeks because we want you to just, not think too hard and, like, talk yourself out of launching basically because you're never gonna be 100% perfect.
Mhm.
That's just facts. But our theme of this program is progress over perfection. So that is
Exactly.
just a quick summary of what's going on in our program. We are currently working on it. So excited, guys. I'm just super stoked.
I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. So that is it for this week's podcast episode. Thank you so much for listening.
See you next time.